What if the secret to living past 100 isn't found in a pill bottle, but in the way you start your mornings, the way you speak to your own heart, the way you treat people, even on the days when you feel tired or unseen, and the way you choose to see the world, one sunrise at a time? It's a simple question, but it carries a quiet kind of power. Because deep down, you've probably felt it too, that sense that life isn't just about counting years. It's about filling them with moments that matter. And maybe, just maybe, longevity has less to do with what you have, and more to do with who you choose to be. In a time when stress weighs heavily on so many shoulders, when the world seems to move faster than any of us can keep up with, there's something comforting, almost healing, about the people who still wake up with a smile, even in their 90s, even in their hundreds. Their stories remind you that optimism isn't naive. It's strength. Joy isn't accidental. It's practiced. And a simple, steady life may hold more power than we ever realized. That's why today matters. Because in these next few minutes, we're going to explore the rules for living to 100, not from theories or complicated medical charts, but from the example of one of the most joyful elders of our time, and from what modern doctors are now discovering about the habits that help you live longer, live healthier, and stay truly alive in spirit. And here's the part I want you to hold on to. These rules aren't distant. They aren't unreachable. They're things you can start living today, in small moments, with small choices, that slowly shape a life filled with energy, purpose, and peace. Before we go deeper, I want to invite you into this conversation in a heartfelt way. If you believe age is more about attitude than numbers, if you believe the human spirit can stay young far beyond the body, just type the word longevity in the comments. And stay with me until the end. Because something I share may shift the way you see aging forever.
Before we continue, you'll find an Amazon link to the book on longevity secrets in the description below.
Many older adults say movement is medicine, but the happiest centenarians take it a step further. They move with joy. Not for fitness alone, not to check a box or meet a goal, but simply because moving reminds them they're alive. You can almost feel it when you watch them, the lightness in their steps, the gentle rhythm in their routines. They don't chase intensity, they chase enjoyment. Maybe you've seen someone like that. An older neighbor who still sweeps their porch every morning with a smile, or a grandparent who insists on walking to the market instead of being driven. There's something quietly powerful in the way they move. They're not trying to exercise. They're simply living, and their bodies respond with gratitude. Doctors explain that this kind of gentle, consistent movement keeps your joints lubricated, your heart strong, and your mind sharp. It supports balance, digestion, sleep, and mood in ways that heavy workouts simply can't. And as much as we're told to push hard or go big, research keeps reminding us that it's the small, daily movements that make the greatest difference over a lifetime. There's a common misconception that staying healthy requires sweat, strain, and hours at the gym. But the world's longest living people rarely do any of that. They choose movements that fit naturally into their day. Tending a garden, taking slow walks, stretching before bed, or dancing when a favorite song plays. Light activity done every day becomes a quiet anchor, keeping the body awake and the spirit lifted. And here's something you can hold on to: you don't need a gym membership or special equipment to start. A 10-minute stretch in the morning, a slow walk around your home, or even a bit of dancing in your living room can change the way your body feels. When you move with intention and kindness, not pressure, your body begins to trust you, and it returns that trust with energy and resilience. But movement alone isn't enough. There's another rule that seasoned centenarians swear by, one that begins in the mind, and shapes every choice, every habit, and every year that follows. And yet, optimism isn't something they talk about lightly. It's not cheerfulness for show, or pretending life is perfect. It's something deeper. A discipline of the mind, a quiet decision they renew every morning. Many of them say it starts in the first few minutes after waking. That moment where the world is still soft, still slow, still forming. They choose one hopeful thought, and let it guide the rest of their day. It's remarkable how often they repeat this idea, that happiness doesn't come from comfort or luck or smooth paths. It comes from the attitude you bring to those paths. Time and again, elders who have lived through wars, losses, illnesses, and decades of uncertainty say the same thing: optimism kept them steady when everything else around them was shifting. They held on to it not because life was easy, but because it gave them strength when life was hard. And while modern science explains it in hormones and heart rhythms, they explain it in something much simpler: peace. They say a hopeful mind rests easier, forgives quicker, and moves forward without dragging the weight of yesterday behind it. It protects the body the same way a strong roof protects a home, quietly, consistently, without needing applause. But even the most unshakably positive people will tell you this truth: no one stays strong alone. Loneliness wears a person down faster than age ever could. And those who live the longest understand that relationships, real ones, are as essential as food, water, or sleep. That brings us to the next essential rule. If you listen closely to the stories of those who pass 100, you notice something beautiful: none of them walk that journey alone. There's always someone in the background, a loyal friend who checks in, a neighbor who waves from across the yard, a family member who never lets the bond fade. These connections become the invisible threads that hold their spirits together, especially during the years when the body slows down but the heart still longs to feel seen. They often say that companionship doesn't need to be grand or complicated. It can be as small as sharing morning tea with someone who understands you, or exchanging a few warm words at the market, or laughing with a friend who knows your stories by heart. These simple moments stack up over a lifetime, creating a cushion against loneliness and a reason to keep showing up for each new day. And while science talks about improved memory, steadier blood pressure, and healthier brain chemistry, they describe it in more human terms. They say connection makes life feel lighter. It gives the heart something to look forward to. It keeps the soul from shrinking. Even the quietest relationships, the ones built on gentle routines and soft conversations, can become a source of strength that outlasts decades. What surprises many people is how often the longest-living adults reject the idea of the isolated, silent life. They'll tell you plainly, solitude may feel comfortable for a season, but a long life thrives on companionship. They believe that even one meaningful relationship can soften grief, stretch happiness, and create the kind of emotional resilience that carries you through the hardest years. And they always share the same piece of practical wisdom: don't wait for someone else to make the first move. Reach out. Send a message. Start a conversation. A simple hello, offered with sincerity, has the power to reopen old connections or spark new ones that slowly add joy to the days ahead. Because connection becomes something deeper when it joins hands with purpose. And for those who reach a century, purpose is not just a nice idea, it's a powerful rule for living a long, meaningful life. They'll often tell you that the turning point in their life wasn't tied to age, or success, or some dramatic event. It came the moment they found something small that made their mornings feel meaningful. For some, it was tending a garden, trusting that each new leaf had its own lesson. For others, it was taking care of a pet, or writing letters, or keeping a tiny routine that brought order to the day. Centenarians say purpose doesn't need to shine. It just needs to exist. Because once it does, it adds weight to your steps, shape to your hours, and a quiet sense of direction to your life. You can hear it in their stories, how purpose steadied them through loss, how it gave them a reason to rise even when their bones ached, how it reminded them they still mattered, even on the days when the world felt too big. They insist it's not the size of the purpose that keeps you going, but the sincerity of it. They laugh when people think purpose must be grand or world-changing. They'll say, if it gets you out of bed with a little spark in your heart, that's enough. Meaning can live in the smallest rituals. And those rituals, repeated day after day, slowly build the emotional resilience that carries them into their 90s, their 100s, and beyond. Their advice is simple: pick one task each morning that feels meaningful. It might be watering a plant that depends on you. It might be calling someone you love. It might be reading a paragraph that lifts your spirit. One small act of purpose can steady the whole day. And when the heart is guided by purpose, life starts to unfold with a little more clarity and a little more peace. But purpose alone isn't the secret. What truly ties a long life together is something softer, something many people overlook. Because if you ask the longest living elders how they made it this far, many of them will smile and say, "I stopped being so hard on myself." They'll share that their survival didn't come from pushing, or grinding, or expecting perfection. It came from giving themselves grace. It came from learning how to rest without guilt. It came from treating themselves with the same tenderness they offered to the people they loved. You can hear the quiet strength in their voices when they talk about it. How they learned to forgive their mistakes. How they stopped rushing. How they allowed themselves to slow down instead of fighting the body's natural rhythm. This gentle compassion created space for their minds to calm, their hearts to settle, their bodies to repair. Science might call it lowered stress hormones, but they describe it more simply: they learned to breathe again. Many people believe that to live long, you must push yourself harder. But the elders who lived past 100 will tell you the opposite. Longevity is built on pacing yourself with grace. On listening to your body. On resting when you need rest. On speaking to yourself kindly, especially on the days when life feels heavy. Their practical wisdom is as soft as it is powerful: treat your body like a friend you want to keep around for many years. Offer it patience, support, and kindness. Because a body that feels cared for will carry you farther than a body that feels criticized. And with these rules woven together, movement, optimism, connection, purpose, and compassion, a long, meaningful, joyful life becomes something quietly possible for us all. And now, as we pause to reflect, consider this: living past 100 isn't just about counting candles on a cake, or adding years to a calendar. It's about filling those years with moments that make your heart beat a little faster, that make your spirit feel light, that make each day feel like it matters. The longest living people don't simply survive, they wake up with curiosity, with laughter, with purpose, and with a sense of wonder that refuses to fade. Perhaps aging isn't the slow loss so many fear. Maybe it's something richer. Gaining wisdom that only comes with time, discovering strength in places you never expected, and learning what truly matters in the quiet spaces between life's chaos. Each day becomes a chance to understand yourself better, to forgive more freely, to love more deeply, and to appreciate the small, unassuming miracles that surround you. And here's something you can do today, something immediate, simple, and yet profoundly impactful. Call someone you love. Share a memory you've tucked away. Express gratitude for something, anything, that warms your heart. These small acts ripple outward, touching not only the people you connect with, but the way your own life unfolds. They are the quiet threads that weave resilience, joy, and meaning into every hour. Maybe the true secret to living longer isn't tucked away in a prescription bottle or a scientific formula. Perhaps it's found in the way you move, the way you hope, the way you connect, the way you live with purpose, and the way you treat yourself and others with gentle love. These are the threads that create a life not only long, but deeply, joyfully, and meaningfully lived. So today, we've explored the rules that help life stretch farther and feel fuller: joyful movement, unshakable optimism, deep human connection, purposeful living, and gentle self-compassion. Each one is simple, yet powerful enough to shape the arc of your years. Which of these spoke to you the most? Which one feels like a habit you could begin today, even in a small way? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your reflections might inspire someone else to make a gentle change that lasts a lifetime. And if this message touched your heart, if it gave you even a quiet spark of hope or curiosity, subscribe to Senior Health Wisdom. Here, we share stories and insights that celebrate life, health, and the beauty of living fully, no matter your age. Thank you for spending these moments with me. Keep your curiosity alive, treat yourself and others with kindness, and may your days be long, peaceful, and full of purpose. The gift of longevity isn't just in the years you count, it's in the moments you fill with meaning.
And again, if you're curious to dive even deeper into his life and the secrets to living long and well, you'll find the book linked in the description below.